Hi, everyone. Welcome back to What's the Rate, the show where we get into the raw and real of pursuing creative success as a self-funded artist in your 20s in New York City. I am your host, Breon Lyons, and today I am with actor, singer, and artist Jonathan Cruz. Welcome to What's the Rate?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So tell us your backstory. Talk to us about your experience post-grad, in your acting career, and also just navigating survival in the city.
Yeah. So growing up, we'd always make home videos, little family films and things like that. And my brother was actually the actor. And he went to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. He did that 2 years there. And then for some reason he just fell out of love with it in college. I don't know, something shifted for him, and now he's doing really successfully in a different field. But I had always wanted to act as well, but I kind of put that to the side just so that he could, do the actor thing, be that guy. And so when he kind of stepped aside from it, it kind of made me feel more comfortable, fully embracing it. And so my senior year, I started submitting to this app called SceneBot. So SceneBot was the casting directors from Victorious and iCarly. They created this application for kids who didn't live in LA, but who still had talent and wanted to be seen. And basically what it was a monthly scene competition, self-tape competition. And every month they'd release a handful of scripts. You'd pick one and then post it. And at the end of each month, there'd be a top 10 list. And for 8 consecutive months, I was always in the top 10. And it was industry professionals who had access to the list, so they could see what people were doing and reach out. And the first time someone reached out, they were only based in LA and I'm in New York, so that didn't work out. And then a month or two later, Cheryl Martin reached out, who's from CMA Entertainment, and she's bi-coastal, so she's New York and LA. Mm-hmm. And we had a phone call. I'll never forget that phone call. And then she signed me. And then shortly after that, the SceneBot people were having a showcase in LA, and they wanted to fly me out and do this whole thing. But they weren't going to do it because I had just gotten a manager. But she vouched for me, and she said he should really go. So I got flown out to LA. It was a crazy experience, my first time there. And we did the showcase. I didn't love the monologue they gave me because I didn't feel it really showcased me. But at that point you just kind of get what you get. You don't get upset. So I did that, and then there were a bunch of agents at the showcase, and one of them was DDO. And then my manager set up the official meeting, and that's how I got representation. And so after that, I was finishing up my senior year in high school. But up to that point, I wanted to go to college for television writing because I loved Parks and Rec, The Office. There was just something about the writing of those shows that I was so drawn to. And because I kind of already had an acting thing going, I was okay, let me go to school for writing so I can have, a varied skill set, be one of those multi-hyphenates. And so I decided to do that, kind of in the vein of Donald Glover, Issa Rae. I just feel that's kind of the way to get things done. And so I went to NYU for that. So many loans. I didn't really have crazy scholarships, but I was just you know what, I know I'm not going to do grad school, or at least I don't see that for myself. So let me just go all out. We got one life to live. I don't want to have any regrets. You know what I mean? Because, wherever I go, it's going to be thousands of dollars. Of course, NYU is many thousands of dollars, but hey, I'll just pay it off, even if it takes decades, or hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully something big hits and I'll be able to, take care of it sooner rather than later. But I was just I'll never forgive myself if I don't do this, because so many of my idols have gone to the school, and it's just always been in my orbit. And so I felt getting in was the hard part. So once I got in, I was well, we just have to make it happen now. Nice. And so I did that the 4 years. And then, of course, COVID hit, and that really derailed things. I just felt that was the first and probably the only time I ever really questioned everything I was doing. I was just I don't want to write. Acting has slowed down. Sophomore year, I actually got the chance to do my first movie, a Lifetime movie, which is really awesome. We were the first production to shoot in Connecticut during COVID and everything. And it was a great experience to be with people and to be on set, of course. But other than that, and then one big producer session for this Monster High show, but that didn't go anywhere after the producer session. And I was just feeling any momentum I had just grind to a halt. And I was just like, I felt pretty depressed, honestly. I don't know if I realized it at the time, but I just felt super, just questioning everything. And then junior year, I started feeling good about things. But at the same time, like I wasn't applying to internships. I wasn't doing that whole thing, which that I really try not to have regrets. But one thing I would say, if there's any younger people listening right now, is to definitely focus on those internships. Because that's like a really big thing, especially like when you're looking for post-grad jobs in the industry, like having that internship experience is so crucial. And I didn't really have that. I had like in dramatic writing, which was, my major, they forced you to have an internship in order to graduate. And so I was lucky enough to find one, but, it wasn't like an NBC or HBO. It was Misha Calvera, which I really am grateful for giving me that opportunity. But it wasn't, a huge name or anything that would necessarily open doors. Of course, it was like great experience, but it didn't really set me up for a post-grad job. And I'll be honest, like my hope going into like freshman year was like, I was like, oh, I won't even finish college. Like before I graduate, like I'll get booked on something will happen that will like whisk me away from this. And that didn't happen. And I was like, kind of like, what now, And so, yeah, that was kind of how I ended my college career. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally feel you in terms of like having this timeline of what you expect your career to be. Because I remember in high school, I was like, oh, surely I'm not going to finish college. Like, surely I'm finna book something big and like have to leave early, I've heard of that happening too. Like, what show did I see? I think it was West Side Story actually on Broadway. And I believe I saw it with somebody, or I was sitting next to someone. No, yeah. Do you remember China? I don't know if you...
Yes.
China Holder?
I feel like I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was telling me about how one of her friends or someone she had went to school with in like high school was at Juilliard, and he was in West Side Story and he couldn't even finish. So I say all that to say like it's a concept that isn't foreign, or like an idea or theory of a timeline that isn't foreign, because it does happen. But I think it does set you up for kind of a unrealistic,
Yeah, it does happen. And that's part of why, I didn't feel crazy for, hoping and thinking it could happen for me as well. But, you have to prepare for it not happening. And I don't know that I really did, but yeah, and I think that's one thing that I realized kind of over the years is kind of like broadening your idea of what success is and what it looks like, and when it happens. The guy from Outer Banks, like he didn't book that till he was like in his late 20s. Like Samuel L. Jackson was like in his 40s or something when it happened. So you really have to be patient and just kind of like open yourself up to any kind of opportunity. Like I know in our heads we have this like timeline, like, oh, I'll do like Law and Order and I'll do these small shows and then something big will hit. And it's like, you can't write the story in that way. You kind of just have to stay prepared, meet people, like plant as many seeds as possible, and then just like leave yourself open to the universe. And I think having that kind of mindset of just staying open to whatever comes or whatever won't come will really like bring you some type of peace, as much peace as you can have in this industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think that's so cool that you had representation so early on. So in that meeting, the first meeting that you had, tell me about what that experience was and what it taught you. Because I know there might be people who are listening who are starting in acting, or they're starting to become serious about seeking representation. So what are some good things that you feel like are to remember when going into your first meeting with representation, and how might it differ between a manager and an agent? Yeah.
So when she first reached out to me, I was just like really excited that anyone had like seen me and recognized like any talent that I may or may not have had. But when I was like researching her, I really appreciated the fact that she had a lot of Black talent on her roster. She had people who looked like me, and that told me that she understands the roles that go out for people that look like me. And she was also Black herself. So I really felt comfortable in that, just knowing what a lot of the industry looks like, or not even what the industry looks like, because it's huge and there's so many actors of all different ethnicities and everything. But, that actors who get on screen and have those opportunities, you don't always see them looking like us. So I appreciated that she had that roster, and that was already like a green flag for me. And then, yeah. And so we had that phone call. I remember she was like, so what kind of like type do you see yourself as? And I was like, oh, like I'm a character actor. And I was like, cause that's like all I knew. I was like 17 or something. And I loved like Willem Dafoe and like these actors who like go really big with it. And then she was like, well, no. And then she was like, that's not what I mean. And so like, basically I had to like be like, you know, the jock or the nerd or like, what do you do? Like comedy, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll like figure that out. And yeah, I think one thing that's really important when you're meeting representation is make sure they know your full skill set and where you see yourself, because, you know, I had been getting like a ton of voiceover auditions for like a year, 2 years, but not that many on-camera stuff. And so I was like, what's going on? Because at the beginning I was getting that, and then like something shifted. And so like a few months ago, I set up a meeting with them, and I was just like, can we have like a check-in? Like, can we discuss like, you know, the things I want to be going out for? And in that meeting, I told them that I also do music, and they didn't even know that I did music or that I had done stand-up, and they didn't know that I was even wanting to go out for more commercials and things like that. So, and after that meeting, I'm so happy I had that meeting, because after that meeting, I've done like 2 movies, maybe another commercial. I'm getting more commercial auditions, and it's just like, you have to make sure you're on the same page with them, because they can't read your mind. They might not know exactly where you want to go. And if you guys are on the same page, it's like, you know, all 4 wheels on the car are like in the same direction. And I think it's just really important to make sure that your goals are aligned and that they know what your goals are.
I totally relate to when you were talking about your type, and how you were like, oh, like Willem Dafoe, character acting and things like that, because I had a meeting with someone, and they were a pretty like big agency, and I told them, yeah, I want to be like Johnny Depp, like I want to morph into these characters where you don't, pretty much like, yeah, like you said, I wanted to be a character actor. And he looked at me like, you don't know
what this is.
He told me you need to go like act some more and do some more research and understand what you are marketable as. Right. And right now in my career, actually, I will say I'm trying to differentiate what I want to play versus what I am marketable for, like where there's a pocket for me and my type in the market. Right. So it's kind of frustrating, because I want to do like the stunts. I want to do the like Angelina Jolie, the dark comedy, the drama and the action and things like that. But I think how I come off and what the market sees me as is like the ingenue, the girl next door, the best friend, the supporting lead. And I'm like, I don't want to be the sweetie pie. Like, I want to ride a motorcycle and shoot a gun, you know?
You want to be in it, you know?
I definitely want to do my own stunts. But, it's not impossible. We'll get there. But I think it's just like, you know, expanding your skill set, right? So like once I have stunts underneath my belt at a very advanced level, intermediate level, then maybe, who knows, maybe they'll need an ingenue that can fight crime.
No, for sure. And in terms of like skill set, that's like another thing that I learned. Like, if you ever feel stuck, like change your approach, like change what you're doing, and always be like listening to seeing what works. Like even when I like book a job or whatever, so I did like a Coca-Cola like thing, and while I was doing the reads and stuff, they were like, oh, that's too commercial, like let's try this. And when I tried that, like the whole team was like, oh, that's so much better. And I was like, oh, okay, so like this is maybe the kind of approach that brands like. And so, you know, this, when I would do auditions before that, it would be like, you know, what I thought they might like, but when you actually get in there and so basically like pay attention even when you've already got the job to how they respond to what you're doing, because that can give you a clue as to what the industry likes to hear. And so from that, I'm like, oh, okay. And I think it's really helped like book more jobs, because I'm able to adjust to, and that's not to say that you can always predict what they want, because you'll never really know what they want. But in doing jobs, it helps you get closer to, you know, at least in the commercial world, like what casting directors and what brands are looking for. So like, yeah, I guess say that to say, like, even when you've got the job, like, still keep learning, still keep listening, and it'll help you get the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So circling back, as far as things to remember when going into that meeting, it's your type, knowing how to communicate your skill set, and knowing where you fit in the market.
Yeah.
Tell me anything else you think might be good to know.
Just seeing who else is on the roster as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
Hopefully there's names you recognize there. If there's not, you can kind of talk about that with them, and like maybe you'll be the name that people recognize. But I guess, seeing who's on the roster is important, what kind of projects they're doing, if it's projects that, you'd want to be involved in. That really helps, how long they've been in business, because I work at an acting agency now. I'm an executive assistant there, and it's really a relationships-based business. Like my boss, the agent, you'll just see him reaching out to casting directors and reaching out to people. And, he just has a direct line of communication to be like, hey, can we have this person read for you? Can we have this person read for you? And you want to make sure that they have those relationships with casting directors, because at the end of the day, you need casting directors to see you to get the job, no matter how great of an actor you are, if they're not seeing you, And so making sure somehow that they have those connections, whether it's just a conversation or seeing. If you go on IMDb Pro, I highly recommend everyone gets IMDb Pro. Yeah. It's a little pricey, but it's so worth it. Just seeing where everyone is, who people are signed with, what projects they're with, who are the producers on that. It's just so great. And yeah, I'd say that's super important as well.
Yeah. So working at this agency, I've been advised that going on IMDb Pro, looking at the agents or the manager's assistants, and finding their emails and reaching out to them. Yeah. Especially for people who have a lot of developing talent on their roster. So tell me about your take on that with the type of job and position that you have in the industry.
Yeah, I would 100% recommend that. Like even when I'm like on TikTok or whatever, I saw this incredible singer and I was like, do you have representation? Like wow. So I do that as well. Cause we go to showcases, like me and the other assistant, we'll go to showcases, we'll look for people, and just like how my boss has a direct line of communication to casting directors, like we have the direct line to the agents. And so like, I was just at a showcase like earlier, like this past week, and this kid like blew me away. And so I went to my agent and I was like, we need to meet with this guy like ASAP. And now we're meeting with him tomorrow, and hopefully we sign him, and hopefully like he does great stuff. But yeah, I would definitely recommend reaching out to assistants rather than the agents themselves, because we do get emails that are just like cold emails, and sometimes we look at them, but for the most part, it's like unless a manager is referring them to us, or unless they have like really great credits, or for example, it might have been Innovative who just closed down their youth department. One of these big agencies completely closed down their youth department recently, and we've been like meeting with a lot of those kids who just got dropped, and the reason being they were already with a reputable agency. But yeah, I would say reach out to the assistants, because at this point, like the agents, they listen to their assistants. You know what I mean? It's like another filter. They don't have to do the work themselves to really see if this person's good or not. They trust our eye, and yeah, I'd say definitely do that.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
For anybody looking for representation, I'm definitely going to take you up on those tips, for sure. Because it's been kind of, I've been going through my journey with seeking representation. I'm indie, and I think sometimes, and I don't know if other artists or actors might relate to this, but you feel like they don't want to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so busy. Yeah. They rep a lot of people, or they prioritize certain people that they rep, or they just get a ton of cold emails, right? So understandably so. I know they can't look at every single email, but I guess just demystifying that illusion that we sometimes project onto them ourselves of like, oh, it's a shot in the dark. Like, I shouldn't even bother. Kind of like booing yourself on stage before you even try.
Yeah, let them say no, I say.
Okay, yeah.
Let them say no.
Let them say no first.
Yeah, because for me, I look at every single email that comes in.
Oh, really?
Like, even the pitches I'll open, because, they I never disregard anyone, you know what I mean? So like I'll take a look at their resume, I'll take a look at their thing, and honestly, if it looks promising, I will be like, hey, like take a look at this cold email we got, like it seems promising, like even just to take a look, maybe set up that meeting. And so yeah, and I would also recommend reaching out to boutique agencies. I don't even know if my agency is considered a boutique agency where I work. But you know, we're a team of 4 people, but we do have like couple hundred clients, so it is like a heavy workload. It's 9 to 6:30. But that being said, like that affords us, you know, we see everything. It's not like 20 people are getting your email and it's just going right in the trash. Like it's a bit more intimate. So I would recommend reaching out to I guess you could cold email like CAA or something, but you're better off emailing the smaller ones to kind of raise your chances of getting a reply.
Yeah. How you said you get hundreds of emails? Oh,
yeah. So when I did the movie, it was 2 weeks away, and I knew that about every 2 days I have to check my email, or else I'd drown, because in a single day of not checking my email, it's like 600-700 emails, and so yeah, we get a lot of stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting that you say to seek people who look like you on their roster. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I hear that you should do the opposite, mm-hmm. you know, so you can be that unique face, or you could be the one who they pitch for certain roles, like mm-hmm. all the time, more mm-hmm. likely, right? Or more often. But admittingly so, I've also heard that it's good to have numerous people who look like you, because if those 5 people who look like you are booked, trickles down to you. You know what I'm saying? If you're available. Yeah. So, it's definitely a tricky line to walk, because mm-hmm. At the job that I work at, for example, there are specific types that we're like looking for right now, because we don't have them on our roster. Mm-hmm. And once we do get those types, like I can say we're going to be submitting them for every single opportunity like we can find. And so there's definitely some truth to the fact that, like, you know, you could be that unique face on their roster, but at the same time, you don't want to be the only person that looks like you on the roster, because then it's just kind of like, you know, I don't know that I'd have complete trust in that team to like put me forward for that if I'm the only one. You know, I don't know that I want to be the guinea pig, so to speak, you know, but it's a tough line to cross between just being like one of a million and like the only one. So yeah, it's kind of a case by case, but mm-hmm. yeah, you can kind of get the vibes, and once you have that meeting, you can kind of discuss like how they see you, and then go from there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I imagine each agency is different, mm-hmm. but do you guys look at resumes and headshots and that's it? Or do you also look at the reel?
The reel is probably the last thing. Like, so mm-hmm. we're looking at resume, headshot for sure. And then we'd go to the reel. But like for example, when we meet with people, we're having them read a scene in the Zoom. Like we're having them do it live and stuff. Like nice. For example, like we just had the showcase and I thought he was great, but he still has to do the scene with my boss on Monday, you know? So it's like you do kind of have to like, not necessarily like prove yourself, but just kind of like show what you got, you know? And the reels are important, but the shift that I'm seeing, like that my boss is telling our talent to do, is instead of having like a 2-minute reel with everything you've done, have one clip that's like, this is me doing comedy, this is me doing drama, and it should probably just be like one scene, as opposed to like even in these individual ones, like one dramatic scene, one comedic scene, one if you're a singer, like one clip of you singing a song, rather than having it all in one. Mm-hmm. It just makes it a lot easier, because like, you know, when you book say you're going out for a Law and Order, they're probably not going to watch your comedy reel, you know, they're just going to want to go straight there. And yeah, it just makes it easier for people who want to see what you can do. Like a strong look can be enough to get you the meeting, you know?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it really can.
So talk to me more about the credits. Mm-hmm. So what are the type of credits that you guys eyeball or that you look for mm-hmm. when it comes to looking at resumes? Yeah.
Well, so we are a youth agency. So with that comes the expectation that a 12-year-old probably won't have that many credits, right. you know? And so we don't I mean, we like to see that they've done something, even if it's like a school play or something. But it doesn't really factor in as much for the kids. For the kids, a lot of the time, it's the look, the headshot, and do you shrink on camera, or can you kind of like own it, and for the older talent, honestly, it's kind of the same. Like, I feel like we do take some flyers on people. If you come with a recommendation, if your headshot is great, if you have a look that we're kind of seeking right now, that can get you in the room as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So your youth agency, it's 18 to like what, 9?
So it's like 1 month old to like, and we have like all the way up to like 35. Like, it's kind of a pretty big range, but for the most part, we do focus on like 18 and below, but we have talent older that books. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for the older talent,
yeah,
because I want to know.
Yeah.
What credits you, because I'm thinking I need to have Law and Order on my resume.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have SVU. I need to have, like, you get what I'm saying, Blacklist, or one of the many shows that shoot here all the time, Blue Bloods, whatever. But so tell me about the credits you seek or that you eyeball for your older talent. Preferably 24-year-olds that are named Breon. That went to NYU.
Yes. I mean, the NYU helps. Like, even for me getting the job, the person I was replacing went to NYU, and I think that was part of what helped me get the job. So, like, even though it took me like loans and loans, to go to NYU, like, it does open some doors. And so the fact that you trained at NYU is a big thing. And like, put any stage credits you have, like if you've done student films, put it on there. And just make it look packed, I'd say. And then like, make sure the headshot is like A1. And then after that, I feel like you've done everything that you can do at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, do I need more credits? Do I need more official credits on my resume?
No, because at the end of the day, like, we're here to help you get those credits. So like, as long as you're presenting like, I mean, like I said, like any type of clip you have to share is great, so that we can see that. But and if you've had a callback for something, put that in there.
Okay.
Yeah. We have clients who cold email and they're like, when we're doing pitches, he will include like, they were in final callbacks for so and so. They did a chemistry read for this and this, and that helps a lot too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know callbacks help.
Yeah, it factors in. Yeah.
Wow. So put that as like a section on there, or what? Or just like put it in the cold email?
Put it in the email.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. This is very knowledgeable and very like helpful for me. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Of course. Yeah.
I should tell them how we met.
Oh, yeah. People should know. Yeah.
People should know.
Yeah.
So, met Jonathan freshman year. We were in the same expository writing class, which is like an intro class required for every single NYU freshman, or is it only Tish?
It might have been Tish. I think it might have been Tish, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we were in the same class, that 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Like good old 8 a.m. And I've honestly just been keeping up with what you do on Instagram, and I saw that I remember when you booked that, you said it was junior year, sophomore year?
So that was sophomore year.
Okay, yeah. I remember hearing about it. Did you also do something on Hulu?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
I did a show called Monsterland, and it's so funny, like the little scene I did goes viral on TikTok all the time for some reason.
Oh, really?
And people always like text it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, because it was like a scene where it was like a healthcare kind of scene. And so it's like, I mean, when are we not talking about healthcare in America? So it's like, it always kind of pops up, so that's awesome to see as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, you're good. Wow. I just want to talk more about your journey post-grad. So hitting the ground running, we graduate, we leave in our purple from Radio City Music Hall. What was next for you?
So I was honestly relieved to be done with it a little bit. Okay. Like, I was just like, I don't know. Like, so I was an RA, and my RA job didn't end on the highest note. Part of it is my fault for sure, but I just, I don't want to speak ill on anyone, but I don't know if I had the best, like, supervisor, boss, or whatever. Like, I don't know. He's a great guy. Anyways, so I was just kind of relieved to be out of that kind of world a little bit, because I don't know, there was something about NYU that for me was a little bit isolating. Even though like my family was like 30 minutes away, you can be super lonely in the city, I think. And I was just kind of happy to have survived that. Yeah. And so after graduating, I was just happy. I was like bouncing around. I didn't really have any prospects because like I said, like the internship I had wasn't a huge one, you know? And so I took some time. I did like a post-grad trip to Spain, and that was like really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was just like a celebratory thing. But then you get back and it's like, okay, so what now, you know? Yeah. And so the job market is notoriously tricky, but I was applying, and I applied to Madison Square Garden to be an usher. It's one of the many jobs I applied to, and I like got it, and I got the job. And I did that for a while, honestly. And the thing about that is it's like, it's 4-hour shifts, 4.5-hour shifts. And you could have a month where you have 12 shifts, which was like a great month. And you could have a month where you have 4 shifts or 5 shifts. And so if financial stability was top of mind, like not a great job. Like that's like a supplemental job. But what it lacked in money, it made up for it in like experiences. Like I got to see so many great shows at Madison Square Garden. I worked there for like 2 years. And I've seen like Pink, I'm trying to think who else. I mean, just so many people who like, imagine everyone you can see in 2 years at MSG. That's like what I saw, like so many Knicks games and stuff. And so that was great. And it just kind of allowed me like time. It definitely gave me time because it wasn't a 9 to 5. It was like a 6 to 12 or something. And so that allowed me to like get in the gym, you know, just kind of breathe. I honestly saw it as kind of a gap year because I never took a gap year before going to college so really after graduating, that was my time to just kind of like breathe, reevaluate, you know, kind of find myself again because I did feel a little bit lost you know, in college. And so, but there was just a certain point where I was just like, I was on my phone more often at work, and it was just like, you know, whenever a guest would like snip at me or snap at me, it would kind of impact me more than it did at first. And I was just like, okay, like I have to get out of here. Like I'm capable of so much more than it's a great job, but like I have a degree, you know, I'm a smart guy. Like I can be doing more than this. And so thus began my like second job search after that. And that was like months and months of just like applying, and like online like Discord groups where like there's like more insular jobs that you might not find on like LinkedIn or Indeed or anything like that. And I got a few interviews from that, which helped me kind of polish up your interview skills. So I would say like if you're looking for a job and you're getting an interview, congratulations. If you don't get the job, basically it still is great because it helps you like nail the interview skills. And I will say I'm pretty anti-AI, but it did help me do mock interviews because like there's like a voice feature where you can just like talk to it. And I would just do like mock interviews like leading up to it. And that helps because like they pretty much do ask those same questions. And so I was applying. And I remember like it was a Saturday and I like wanted to take a break from applying, but I was like, let me just see what's on LinkedIn. So I saw this agency. I think I can say I work at the Zuri agency. And, so I just saw it was like a quick apply. So I was like, let me just quick apply. Like it takes 2 seconds. And then he responded and I was like, whoa. And then I got the interview. I felt good about the interview. And then I got the job, and that was this past May. So pretty recently. And, so I've been getting used to having this new schedule because I haven't had to wake up consistently at that time for years and years and years, probably since like freshman year for that 8 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. But even that wasn't every day, you know, and this is 4 days a week in office and 1 day at home. And so it's been good and bad having that kind of schedule. Good because, you know, you get routine, and routine can help kind of stabilize you. But at the same time, like when you book a job, it's stressful because so technically we have unlimited PTO, but we're a 4-person team. So whenever some person is absent, it really impacts. Yeah. And for example, like when I just booked this movie, it was like, it's going to be 2 weeks away. And in that second week, another member of our 4-person team was going to be out as well. And I was just like sweating bullets. And so but like, as soon as I got that beloved like offer email, I was like, okay, I accept, but let me talk to my boss or whatever and see what's going to happen here. And so the good thing about working at an acting agency is he understands like opportunity. He understands like when you get something, like you should really take it, you know, unless you have a really good reason not to. Mm-hmm. And so they made it work for me, which I'm like so grateful for, because it was really short notice. Like I found out like just a few days before I was going to have to go. Mm-hmm. And, but it's stressful because, you know, now that they gave me those 2 weeks, I feel a little bit nervous now to ask for anything else whenever I like book a job. Like I have a VO job on December 11th that it's only going to be like 2 hours. I can use like 1 hour of my lunch break. So I'm really only away for an hour, but I'm still nervous about that. And so that's something to consider as well when you're looking for your like survival job, or quote unquote. Like I honestly do like the work because it's in the industry. I get to see like what jobs are casting, what's getting made in the area. Mm-hmm. So I really like that aspect of it. But, you know, for, you know, my acting thing, that can be kind of, you know, overnight you find out you have to be someplace, and that can be tricky. So I think for people looking for survival jobs, make sure they know you're an actor, you know, and that you might have to leave sometimes. And it's tough because like before I got this 9 to 6 job, like I was booking, but it wasn't an every week thing or an everyday thing. And, you know, after I got this job, it was like I'm booking like crazy now, and it's like I'm super grateful, and it's a great problem to have, but it's like, ooh, like how am I gonna make this work, you know? Mm-hmm. And so now I have to like I turned down a job for the first time because I was like, guys, like they just gave me 2 weeks to do this movie. I can't do this like VO job. Like it's a little bit precarious at work right now, and so that's the trade away. Like I've never ever before that turned down a paying opportunity to act. Like that's crazy, but I had to do it to support this 9 to 5.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you about that. If you ever had an experience where you had to sacrifice a job or anything within your creative career for the sake of a 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 in this case, or surviving, you know? So, and it is really unfortunate because I've had that experience before too, where I was called about an all expenses paid for type of opportunity where I was needed as a PA on set. Mm-hmm. And it sucked because it was back home, which was so I was like, oh, that'd be so perfect. Like while I'm there, I could stay and see my family. But it wasn't a long enough notice in between. Like it was literally like, if not that weekend, like the following week. Mm-hmm. So I had to tell her no. Yeah, and it sucked so bad. Yeah. Cause it's like, that's what I'm here for.
Exactly.
Right. That's why I'm in New York. Mm-hmm. So it's so tricky. But I think I definitely agree with what you said about making sure that your boss understands like what you're here to do and that they value that. Yeah. They don't want to be the reason why you're not succeeding and pursuing what you came here to do and what you believe you were, I don't want to say destined to do, but what you're passionate about. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I definitely can resonate with that for sure. Mm-hmm. Post-grad life, man, it's different for everybody.
It's different. Yeah. I will say that I like it in the sense that like, I feel like I do have like freedom, you know, even though, so I'm currently living at home right now, and I'm really grateful for that because it's like 35 minutes from the city, just hop on the LIRR, come in, and my job is like a 10-minute walk from Penn Station. So it's like perfect. Oh, nice. But you know, I do have friends who have to do different jobs in order to support living in the city. Yeah. And so it's a very real thing. And like, you know, if you're in New York for a specific reason, like your employer should definitely recognize that. And like in our emails, my boss was basically like, if it looks like you're taking off and like this, you know, a huge game changing opportunity comes, like we'll talk about it. We'll cross the bridge when we get there. And so he doesn't want to like you said, he doesn't want to, you know, get in the way of me doing something like that. Mm-hmm. But for smaller jobs and things like that, it seems like I have to deny them a few times, which like my agents weren't happy about when I was like, guys, I can't do this job anymore. They were like, oh, but it was already confirmed, this and that. Mm-hmm. And so it's just tricky, really stressful conversations because it's like someone's going to be upset at the end of the day, whether it's like my boss or my agent or what have you. But, you know, I hadn't done a movie since 2020, 2021. So it was like, oh no, actually it was, well, I had done a movie like just that month, but, I haven't done like a long movie. You know, when I did, the second movie I did was just one day of work. But you know, it's an opportunity you can't pass up. For a while, I was considering like the big move to LA.
I was just going to ask you that. I don't mean to cut you off, but just about what's hard about doing this work in New York City, what's the easiest thing, and why you choose New York and not LA.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can go ahead and continue with what you're going to say. But I do want to get to that.
No, like addressing that, like I think for me, the only like downside, I guess, is just like how much competition there is. Like I went for a callback for this, like, to play like a younger Spike Lee pretty much. And, you know, you look around, everyone looks like you, and it's like interesting, you know, it's a weird experience when you walk into a room like that. But at the same time, like, I'm not like driving can be a little bit stressful for me. So I love that everything's walkable. I love that like I can do a job and then be back in my office within like an hour just because how compact the city is. Yeah. I think it's just like a great bustling city. And I just feel like as isolating as the city can feel at times, like I just feel like LA would be 10 times worse. And like I've been to LA twice. I don't want to offend any LAers, but I find the vibe to be a little bit weird there sometimes. And like, I don't know how I'd feel being surrounded by industry people, you know, like you walk down the street in New York, it's finance, it's law, it's teaching, you're surrounded by everything. And of course, LA, it's not just actors and directors and writers, but you know, when you're in the belly of the beast, you're in the belly of the beast, you know? And, yeah, so I'm also like currently in a relationship and they're here, and that's another aspect of it as well. You know, it's not something to just be tossed aside. But at the same time, you know, you do have to put yourself first in certain situations, like especially your career. It's like your livelihood. And so I've considered the move to LA, but I realized, and the reason why I considered it is because like there was this one job where I got like placed on hold for it, and they wanted to confirm that I was in LA, and we had kind of like fudged the details on that because I was like, no, like I can work as an LA hire, like I'll fly myself out, whatever. But I couldn't be a true LA local hire, and I lost that job. Who knows if that job was even ever mine, but just like the fact that it was like, oh, if I was just in LA, I would have had that job. And so ever since then, I was like, okay, I have to be out there. But I talked to my representation and I was like, what do you guys think? Like, should I go out there? And they were basically saying that like, just, you know, there's like a lot of competition out there. Like, you should like kind of wait for a job to call you out there or this and that. Like they're basically saying, don't expect to land there and start booking like crazy, which I appreciated their honesty in that. Yeah. And it kind of gave me like, kind of erased some of the FOMO I was having. And I realized like, wait, like I also live in New York City. Like that's just as great of a place to make things happen as LA. Yeah. And, you know, my plan was to go to LA and like grind. And I was like, let me just apply that same mindset here. And so now I'm trying to do that. Like I'm taking classes. I'm just like taking it all more seriously. Cause I feel like ever since graduating, something set in where I realized like, this is my career and like I need to take this seriously. Cause you know, when you're in school, it's like I'm in school, you know, I'll do a self-tape at night. I'll do this at that. But it's like, it kind of feels like a side gig when you're in school. And now that I'm out, I'm like, okay, like I'm not an aspiring actor. I'm an actor and I have to take this seriously. And so I think just kind of owning that and kind of like standing up straighter with it. Like I go to events and people are like, oh, what do you do? Like I'm an actor, I'm a writer, like just kind of like fully like owning that has really helped me with like confidence and just like when you walk into a room, you know, this isn't something you're trying to do. It's something you're doing. Even if you don't have representation, even if you're like, if you act, you're an actor. I always tell people like, to take away the aspiring part, like you are what you are. And I think that just helps you like, kind of tackle whatever it is you're trying to tackle, you know, just throw 100% of yourself at it. And I made the decision to do that here in New York as opposed to LA because like we were saying, like I do have that privilege of having housing here. And so that means I can pay for classes more easily. I can like, whenever I need a reader, I hop on We Audition and I like hire a great reader for an hour. And that's been huge because it was always so stressful to have to ask friends because like they don't really get anything out of helping you do a self-tape, you know, like if they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. And like I always felt a little bit guilty about that, and maybe that showed up in the performance as well. And so now I can just like hire actors who do this and who like doing this, and it feels great. I can just focus on doing the scene.
Yeah, actor readers for sure.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times I've asked like a family member or somebody who's like not an actor to read, and it
can be painful. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're giving me nothing.
Yeah,
like,
That's when you really have to act. That's when you really have to act.
Yeah, that's when that training really does come through. Yeah, that is so funny. Yeah. Wow. All right. What was a moment where you felt uncomfortable, but you had to show up anyways?
Let's see. Okay. So it was another VO job. And what happens was they were on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast. And in the scheduling of the session, it was supposed to be like 11 a.m. or something. And 11 a.m., what was it? Like PST. But this whole time, like my agent had been communicating it to me as if it was 11 a.m. EST. And so thank God I was like, happened to be awake or whatever, when all of a sudden I start getting emails and calls and they're like, where are you? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like we're set for 11 a.m. right? And then they were like, no, so it's actually right now. And I was like, oh my God. So I ran downstairs. I set up like my little like foam cushions or whatever, my microphone, got it all set up, and then did the job. And I didn't feel prepared. I still had morning voice or whatever. But that just comes with like preparation. And so like when I did this movie, you know, I was called every single day pretty much. And my rule that kind of kicked in like night one, I just realized like, in order for me to go to sleep pretty much, I have to go to sleep knowing all my lines. I have to go to sleep knowing exactly what we're doing. And so that night, even though it's VO and you have the script in front of you, like you still don't want it that morning to be the first time those words are leaving your mouth, you know? And so because I had done that preparation the night before, even though I was uncomfortable, I was ready for whatever they threw at me. And so that's why I really like push people to be as prepared as possible.
Absolutely.
And so that was one time where I was like, whoa, like I thought I'd be like asleep right now, but let's just do it, you know?
Yeah. Heavy on preparation.
Yeah.
I don't know if they drill that into us at Tisch or because I've had opportunities where people didn't know the lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Because like at Tisch, you don't come to, I mean, obviously they were like, attendance is important. You need to come to class, but like, what are we watching if you don't know what you're doing?
Yeah.
So the teachers would be like, sit down and come back
like
when you know the lines. Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting how like, preparation might not be the most common instilled tool in people, but it's like the most
it's a huge
needed.
Part of it.
Yeah. So it's kind of ironic. It's like, you know, I don't know if you've had that experience where you're like, guys, like, why is the bar here right now? You know, like,
yes. So the movie I did, it was a SAG feature film, which I was really happy about. But, you know, we didn't have $1 million budget. And so there were times where it was like, I don't know if I've ever experienced a set quite like this before. But, you know, we kind of, thank God the cast of actors were all super prepared. And we were able to, because they would like slash scenes, they'd rearrange scenes, they'd say this instead of this. And you have to be willing to change. Like, and that's why, even though I do stress preparation, I'm also, don't be too prepared to the point where you can't switch it up. You know what I mean? To a point where you can't be open to changes, or you're like, wait, I didn't prepare for this. Like, I only know this way. And for example, like the Spike Lee callback I did, we got there and then they were like, so we're changing the script. And I was like freaking out. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I prepared for this, this, and this. And you're trying to tell me now it's that, and that. And like, we were all just kind of like, what's going on? And that, plus the fact that I was like the second to last guy to go. So you're just like sitting there, like your palms are sweaty. You're waiting till they call your name. the callback did not go well. But that was a learning experience. Like, even when you fail, like, just learn from it. There's always going to be another chance to get in the room. But that taught me to, like, just be prepared for them to throw things at you, you know? Yeah. And be prepared to play around with it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was on a set where I memorized it one way, like you said.
Yeah.
And the night before, the director was like, actually, we're going to put this extra scene in there. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it went very well.
Oh, good.
It went great. Filming went great. But I just say that to say, like, I totally understand. And I have been through that where it's like, ooh, that preparation needs to be to a T, to where you could get it in your body and in your subconscious, right? So that way you can throw it all away and just be present in the moment when you're connecting with your, I don't want to say scene partner, but with your co-star or with your scene partner. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Samuel L. Jackson is like, he's like a big inspiration for me. And he says that, like, by the time he gets to set, he knows his lines and everyone else's lines, and he's just there to play at that point. And that was kind of the mindset that I had going into this. Like, we'd do rehearsals and we'd be like running scenes, and like, they'd be like, oh, what's my next line? And I'd be able to tell them, like, hey, your next line is this. And that felt great because, like, I just felt comfortable. I wasn't worried about the lines when I was shooting. It was just like, you get to act, and this is the fun part,
Yeah. It feels so good when you can just be present. You could just deliver. Because admittedly so as well, I've had moments where I don't have the lines down as much as I would have liked to. Like, they're not in my subconscious, they're not in my body. I just have them memorized, right? So as you're in your head and you're thinking about where you remember seeing X, Y, and Z in the script. Yeah. So now you're kind of forcing the emotion in your vocal, right? Rather than it being in your body and in your mannerisms, right? So I highly believe that you need to memorize it, not until you can recite it without having to look at the paper. You need to memorize it to where you can be doing something. You could be multitasking and the lines. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of my teachers also told us that, shout out to Angela Vitale as Stella Adler, my Shakespeare teacher, but she was like, it's not enough you should be able to do the lines while you're doing your laundry, while you're cooking, while you're out doing errands and things like that. Yeah. It should be second nature.
Yeah.
Because that type of preparation truly will make jobs so much more authentic, so much easier, and you trust yourself so much more. And you can play, like you said,
Yeah.
So talking about SAG, I do want to get into that. So you are a SAG actor?
So this was like a whole big thing. So I was like, I've done a lot of SAG now. Like, shouldn't SAG be like banging on my door being like, you have to join or whatever? Yeah. And so, like, I knew I was SAG eligible, but I thought I'd be a must join by now. And so I reached out to them recently and I was like, what's going on? And they were like, oh, because turns out they had the wrong social security number for me on file. And so they weren't like tracking the things I was doing. And so it should be corrected now. But this movie that I did, I thought I'd show up to set and get a phone call and be like, you have to join before doing it. But that phone call never came. And so I'm thinking once they process like the payment for this, maybe they'll reach out or something. But as of now, I'm only SAG eligible. I'm not a must join just yet, I don't think. But that's not the worst thing because I did some research and like, so the big thing that's great about SAG is like health insurance, obviously, but you have to make like either $22,000 or $27,000 a year every single year to qualify for the health insurance. And that feels like a high bar to cross.
With just acting jobs alone, just to clarify.
Yeah, just acting jobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And add to that, you can't do non-union work if you're SAG. And a lot of the VO jobs I do that are great are non-union, And so I'm not mad that I haven't joined it. That being said, I am very excited for the day that I get the card just because it's like, a concrete step forward. And like, it's just, you can use like, there's a lot of resources that become available to you once you join. Like, there's like classes and like self-tape rooms and things like that. And so I'm really looking forward to that day. But as of now, I'm not officially SAG.
Not officially SAG.
Yeah.
So your representation sends you out for these like SAG, these union jobs, even though you are non-union.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit more about that process and your experience with that process, and how open these like union jobs are to non-union talent.
They seem pretty open, honestly. Like like every other audition is probably union. Like I'll go out for a lot of animated shows that are union and stuff. And yeah, so I treat it honestly the same. Like if it's SAG, I might maybe put a little bit extra in there, but yeah, I kind of approach it the same. And also, like, from what I understand, SAG rates have decreased over, like, I know that's what we were recently on strike, but like an actor who did like one day on Law and Order, I don't know, 15 years ago would net a lot more than someone who did it now, with streaming and everything like that. Yeah. So yeah, like I'm very excited to join, but at the same time, like, you do lose out on some opportunities. And so I'm not like rushing to join, I guess. And it's also a $3,000 fee to get in. And then, it's a big shift once you do make that move. But yeah, I have a mentor, Cynthia Ade Robinson, and she's a great, great actress. She's in like Lord of the Rings and like the new Accountant movie. And she was basically saying that like, she thinks at this point in my career, like I should join and everything. And I could join tomorrow if I wanted, but I don't know if it's the right thing right now. Yeah. To keep those non-union jobs open to me.
Talk to me about your relationship with auditioning and your process, how you approach it.
I honestly think I have a pretty good relationship with it. Nice. The one thing that I will say that I've gotten better at, I hope, is like, I used to take like hours to do a self-tape because like I would just be like, okay, again. And that's part of why I felt guilty, but I was just like, we got to do it again and again. And like, it's funny, like for the self-tape that I did for this movie, like it was on We Audition. And even when I was like, can we go again? She was like, I think you got what you need. And I was like, you're right. But like, I want to go again. And like, thankfully, I don't know if the take that we did again was the one that got me the job, but, yeah, so that's one thing that I could get better at still is like, just doing one to four takes and doing it, because like your seventh take is probably not that different from your fourth take. And so that's one thing I can improve upon, but I think I'm really good at just like do it, send it in, forget about it. Like there'll be times where I get like a hold or a callback and I'm like, what was this for again? Because like, especially in VO, like, you do like 5 auditions a week. It's like they keep you busy. And so, I mean, you can't be precious about it. And I think that's really helped because I have fun with it and then I send it off and then you really do forget about it. It's like, someone described it as like when you shoot a bow, an arrow, you shoot it. Once it leaves your hand, like you can't direct the wind to where it's going to go. You know what I mean? So it's gone. And yeah. And I forget about it. I generally do forget about it unless it's like a big thing, like Grey's Anatomy. Then I'm kind of like, are they going to hear back? But for the most part, you send it and forget it.
Yeah. I love that analogy you gave about a bow and arrow and letting it go.
Yeah.
I'm honestly all for actors developing healthier relationships with auditioning. I know in this type of industry, it's not promised or consistent, right? So it's easy to hold on to every audition and be like, I need this or like, I want this. Yeah, absolutely. So just understanding that you can only do so much and you can only control what you put on that camera or what you give that tape, and just keep doing it. That's really what it is. Just keep doing it. And I have heard, it's been reaffirmed to me that truly post-grad, especially your acting career is going to be auditioning.
That's it.
That's the career. Yeah. So being so wicked good at auditioning, that's really what your superpower is going to be.
Yeah. And I will say, like, working at an acting agency, it's also because we get to see what casting directors say. And like a lot of the times it just genuinely isn't personal. A lot of the times it's like, they're great, but we're going in this direction. They're great, but like yada, yada. It's 99% of the time it isn't personal. I will say if you're a singer, like make sure you can sing, make sure you can like hit those notes. Cause that's one thing where they will give specific notes about like opening up your whatever it is. But yeah, it's really not personal. And so if you don't get the job, like try not to internalize it, the next one will come. And yeah. I'm trying to think what else. So being good at auditioning, that's so huge. Take an auditioning class. And make sure how you enter a scene is very important. Cause that's like, the sooner you can grab them, the better. And, and make distinct choices. Because So for this film I did, there was a moment where my character says like, "Oh, your pupils aren't dilated," and in that moment, I chose to like go up to the camera and like do this, like as if I was really looking in someone's eyes. And on the phone call with the director, he was like, "You were the only guy to like do that, and that showed me that you were like thinking." So I will say like, really look at a script, and like, you know, don't just see the words as words. Like you said, like don't just recite it. Like what is actually happening in the scene, and you know, make choices even if they seem big, and you know that sticks out to directors and casting directors, and yeah.
Making choices.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is a barrier that you have to constantly push past every day throughout your creative pursuit?
Definitely comparison. That's the big thing. And that's probably a big reason why I try to stay off Instagram. Like there's people that I started out with that are now leading Broadway shows, that are like doing this and that. And I'm so happy for them. And you just have to realize that like everyone's on different like tracks, like train tracks or whatever.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. But you really do gotta... You know what I'm saying?
Like you know it logically, but it can still be like, why aren't I there? You know? But there's people, I know there's people that look at me and they're like, why aren't I there? You know, so you just kind of have to like, you know, be grateful for every opportunity you have. There's people who would love to even be in New York that, you know, are in Idaho or something. So just being grateful and understanding that your time will come, just staying prepared, being in class. You know, I didn't study acting at NYU, and so it was all just kind of vibes for me. Like I was just kind of like, you know, trusting my instincts, but I really wanted some type of training. So I did like Zoom classes. I want to start that again soon. Just giving yourself as many tools as possible. And I will also say, since the main job is auditioning, like you said, invest in a good setup. I think that's huge, because I've seen our clients that get like callbacks and like bookings. The setup looks pretty good. Like it looks like they're ready to be on set, you know? So I will say, try to invest in a nice setup for sure. Yeah.
You want to know something? I'm going to be very transparent. I feel like a lot of my materials are good. I get great feedback on like my headshot, my resume. The audition setup is A1. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I go through... Have you seen that episode of Victorious? It's like the first one when she first gets there. And he's like, do the monologue again. It's the bird scene. The bird scene, yeah. And she's like, okay. Like, and she tries so hard. And she's so ambitious and determined to get this bird scene right. And she's asking everybody, guys, what is it? What is the... And then finally she's like, you know what? No, I killed this scene. I did great. And she's like finally owning her power and accepting, you know what I mean, that her hard work and that she is worthy. There's no approval outside of herself, right? She did it. She recognized her hard work and that she deserved, you know, the recognition for that. And that is how she passed the bird scene, because that's all he wanted her to understand. You know what I'm saying? That self-assurance, the confidence in your work, you know? And I always remember that assignment, because I feel like that's what I need to do when it comes to my materials, right? I don't have too many crazy credits. I've been trying to, you know, build my life, my foundation in New York since post-grad, or since graduating, I should say. And even with my reel, I'm like constantly revising it. I'm like, no, not good enough. Or like I send it to my past teachers and I'm like, can you give me feedback? And they're like, yeah, like just some minor notes, you know? So I'm constantly feeling like I have to improve. And I get nervous to send it to anybody because I'm like, oh, I don't think it's good enough, but it's like, first of all, you went to NYU, so you did train, right? So you do know what you're doing. And also, just send it out. When are you personally, Brian, going to be like, you know what? Everything looks as professional as I can make it. The feedback has been overall 98% that I do know what I'm doing. You get what I'm saying? Except for a couple notes here and there. Whatever. But, dude... just do it, you know, just do it. And I'll be like, people who have rep, even headshots, I'm like, that headshot is not like, it's not as lit up. There's not a lot of, and I'm sitting here like, oh, this headshot's not bright enough, or this doesn't show enough of this, or da-da-da. So not getting too caught up in the minute details and just shoot the arrow. Shoot the arrow. And be confident in yourself. And like, and that goes back to the whole, like,
you're not an aspiring actor and actress. Like, that's just what you are.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and so much of what we do does kind of feel like it depends on external validation, you know, like we're waiting on a casting director to say, hey, you got the job. We're waiting on agents to say, hey, come join our roster. But like, a lot of that has to come from you and just knowing like there was this one thing. So I did like a Comedy Central, like, spot thing that was like really fun to do and kind of made me feel like I wanted to focus on comedy. But anyways, like when I was doing that audition, I was like, okay, before I tape this, in your head, you are a famous comedic actor. This is like you're shooting a cameo to do this, and just getting in that headspace of almost like tricking myself into thinking that I'm 10 times more successful than I am helped me get the job. I think it just came through because it's like casting directors can tell when it's like when you're putting a lot on it and when you're like just kind of like, I need this job. Like it can come through for sure. And so the more you can kind of just like, I'm doing the scene, I'm throwing it away. Like if you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's fine. The more you can kind of harness that energy, the better off I think you'll be. Yeah. I really do think that.
I feel like they can see you having fun making the choices.
Yeah, because they see you having fun. They start having fun. It's like, we want that fun on set.
So what in your career and the many projects that you've done, especially the bigger ones, right, that you feel like kind of gave you a steady momentum or a steady rhythm in your career? Because I remember you saying that one project that you did kind of gave you so many opportunities, right? So talk to me more about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just, well, one, I think is just time. You know, I've been doing this since like senior year, which was 2019. And that's like 6 years. And I just feel like in that time, like if you just put that much time in, like you're just going to find your rhythm. I think you just will. Getting that okay, so I know we said external validation shouldn't be the thing, but so when I did the cyborg job, so I used to want to be an animator. I love animation so much, and so getting that was like just like huge because like I mean, who doesn't want to play a superhero? Yeah. And it was just such a cool role. And like in those sessions, like there were moments where the directors were like, "Oh, like you killed that," or "Oh, yada yada yada," and it felt so good to hear. And like and I as soon as I like got off that first session, like I remember like I was like tearing up because I was like, this feels like everything I've been working towards, you know? And then seeing like the trailer and getting to watch each episode drop, it was just like, wow, like this is it. You know what I mean? Like, and so that gave me a ton of confidence because it was like a name character. It was something that like people were commenting on, like in the app, like you could see people being like, oh, I love Cyborg or whatever. And I was just like, wow, you know? And so that gave me a ton of confidence. And then just doing like, so for a while, like VO, and I feel like it's still kind of my bread and butter voiceover work. But just really understanding my voice and like all the different shades of it has really helped me because, you know, when you're performing, a lot of it is your voice. And so that just gave me a lot of confidence because I felt like I knew myself more. And so like when they're asking me to do things, I know like what buttons and levers to switch inside to make it do those things. And so yeah, I think it's just time. I think it is getting that validation, unfortunately, from people who hire you or for people who are just in the industry. Like, you know, even the smallest comment or like, I like the way you did that can just fill you up, I guess. And you can take that for the rest of your life, for the rest of your career. And so yeah, I think just experience, even if you're doing student films, like you can just bring that with you and be like, I've been on set before. I know what I'm doing. Even if you're kind of just talking yourself up, because so much of it is confidence and like your mental game. The more you can get yourself in the right mental, I think the more success you'll have. And so, yeah, I think it's just experience. And like, the second to last film I did, the guy who was putting my mic on, I noticed the back of his shirt said Monsterland. And I was like, did you work on Monsterland? And then he was like, yeah. And then it was like, oh my God, like this is so crazy. It's like such a small world. But in that moment, I was like, wow, like I've been doing this for a while. And that gave me like some confidence as well. Cause it was just like, now I'm like, I have like repeat collaborators and it's like, I haven't seen you in years, but here we are again, still doing the same thing. And it felt really good to have that moment. And so I think just, it is just going to be something that comes with time, feeling reassured, navigating this. But you can give yourself experience as well, just by doing classes and getting on student films, even if it's unpaid. I think at the beginning, that's totally okay because you're getting your land legs, I guess. Just learning how to navigate a set. And yeah, because comes with experience and time, I'd say. Yeah.
What is something that you wish you knew or a resource you wish you had in the early stages of your career?
I think Probably classes. And because, like I said, like I didn't take any classes in NYU or anything like that. I took like one auditioning class, and then like a week later I got the Hulu show. But then I thought, I was like, oh, I'm good. I don't have to take any classes. You do. It's like anything else. You have to keep that muscle going. And, luckily with like the VO, it's like, it's a lot of auditions a week. So you're never really getting stale. Like the muscle's active, but still like it's good to get in classes to just get more tools in your tool belt. And also I waited way too long to get fresh headshots. So I got like headshots, and then I didn't update them for years. And then, I got new headshots, but then my representation was like, these are no good. Like they were like, these are not going to work, because I went to like a guy who does like magazine shoots, but like kind of does headshots on the side. And I love the pics I got, but they were basically saying this doesn't work as a headshot. And I think they were right, because when I just did a new headshot session this year, way more auditions, way more this and that. And it was just like, wow, like if I did this in 2023, like where would I be now, But, hindsight is 2020. But I will say, like, if your headshots don't look like you now, or if they're super outdated, like get those fixed like ASAP.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put my headshot person right here in the video. Pretty affordable, and gives you all of them, the entire gallery. And he'll even go in and retouch them. His name is Blaine Pennington. So pleasant to work with, and truly wants the best for you out of your headshots, right? Truly takes so much care of you. And just is careful about the craft, and careful about how he positions the lighting and positions you, you know what I'm saying, and make sure that you get the most out of the session. Tell me about how you feel, if at all, that college prepped you for post-grad life in your career field.
Like I said, I was in a writers group with a few other writers. We haven't met in a little bit, but that was great while it was going on, because like, it's what I went for school for. It's what I love. And like you can kind of get back into it. But being that my main thing now is like acting and also music, I don't know that it really prepared me, other than connecting me with people like you and other creatives. I'd say that's been the biggest thing. Like I'll follow people and I'll be like, oh, there's like 30 mutuals. They all went to NYU. You know what I mean? So I'd say, and I kind of knew that going in, like, I don't know if you can really be taught to act. I don't know if you can really be taught to write. I mean, like, obviously they give you tools and they give you things in this, and you obviously do become a better actor through training, of course. But at a certain point, it is kind of on you, and what those schools do give you is a network. And I think if you can take full advantage of that, you'll be in a good place. And like, I love everyone I've met, and like they're all doing great stuff. Like on the set I was just on, like half the people there were from NYU. Like there was like a 35-year-old, there was like a 28-year-old, and they had all gone through the NYU system. And I'm like, me too, guys.
Me too. I love meeting other NYU people. I'm like, wait, especially Tishies. I'm like, you're a Tishy. Yes. And it's like, it's crazy, because like there's like a 10 or 15 year difference, but like there's a lot of overlap still, and like who taught us or whatever it is. And I think that's like huge. So I'd say just like who it puts you in contact with, and like the whole mentorship thing. I have a great mentor that I got through the mentorship program at NYU. And she's great. Like we had like been out of touch for a little bit, just because she was like filming stuff and doing her actress thing. And then I was like, hey, like I just booked this movie. Can I talk to you? And then she was like, so we got on a Zoom the next day, and she gave me tips. She was just like, have fun with it, learn. She gave me a bunch of good tips. And so none of that would have been possible without NYU. So I would say that it helped me meet people. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I feel like NYU is not super big on Greek life, but NYU alone is like a big fraternity or sorority. Like it really is. Like you just come across an NYU person, like one out everywhere. Of like 5 people like are probably a NYU alum. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like the tendrils of NYU are deep in the New York City industry. Yeah. Like for film and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. What goes through your mind during your off seasons? Or like, what do off seasons look like for you when you're not booking anything? So those like 3-month like dry spells, you know, what is that for you?
The biggest off season I had was after I did the movie. Like, I think it was pretty quiet. I think it was like 2021. It was my sophomore year. And I also wasn't feeling anything I was writing that year. I was just like, what is going on? Like, I'm not booking. I'm not really auditioning. I'm not really. And I just did. Well, actually, it was auditioning and I got some callbacks and stuff. But even then, I just felt like it was quiet for some reason. I remember feeling that way. You know, who knows if that was really the truth back then, but it probably was with COVID and everything. And it was tough. It was tough. And I'm grateful to say that was the main off season I've had. Ever since then, it's at least been a trickle. You know, it's at least been something to work on. But in that case, I don't know. I would say, like, talk with your friends. Like with NYU, like people are always writing plays. Say like, hey, if you're working on a play, I'd love to do a reading. This and that. Like, just try not to sit in the off season. I mean, like. There's value in like quiet and stillness and figuring out what you want to do. But if it's kind of gnawing at you, find some way to stay active, I'd say. And that's part of why I did dramatic writing, was because so I could like write my own stuff. And I feel like that's transitioned into doing like TikToks. Like I did a lot of TikToks this year. And that's been really fun because like you do get like that instant feedback, which is another reason why I like music. Like you can write a song and have it sound ready in one day. Whereas if you're acting, like you do need a scene partner, you do need, if you're making a short film, you do need a whole crew. Whereas music, I can do it all by myself. TikTok, I can do all by myself and just do all the other voices. So like, make a TikTok, like use any creative outlet that's like available to you to kind of just like not stay stale and feel like you're doing something.
Yeah. Still be intentional during your off seasons.
Yeah, for sure. Be intentional and, check in with if you have reps, like be like, hey, like, are your other clients also feeling slow? Just like kind of feel it out and like check deadline, read the Hollywood Reporter, see if it's quiet overall and just try to get some insight. It's probably not just you who's in an off season. Yeah.
Oh, you submit on Actors Access?
Yeah. So they submit me Actors Access, casting networks, yeah, I think those are the main ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
It's good for everybody else to know too.
Yeah.
I used to be a huge advocate for Backstage.
Oh.
But I was like,
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely still some stuff on there. Like, and I will say if you don't have representation or you really want some credits, Backstage, I don't think there's anything better than Backstage, honestly. Like the first thing I did was like an NYU senior thesis film. I was still in high school, but I found it online. Or did I find it online? Anyways, it was through Backstage. And that was like the first great experience I had. And like, oh my God, he never even released it. But the trailer is, well, as far as I know, I think he did some festival runs. I reached out. I still have to get the final copy of it. But like the trailer is awesome. Like it looks super high budget. It's clips of that are in my reel. And yeah, I think Backstage is great, especially if you just want to get on set. But a lot of like the major stuff is on Actors Access.
I imagine episodic acting is a lot more demanding, especially in the preparation, than movie acting. In the sense of, with a movie, you kind of just shoot it for one product and your character is consistent for just however long you're shooting for that 1 hour and a half of this world, right? But with episodic acting, doing like 9 seasons of something, and your character has to be consistent. Yeah. Your choices have to be consistent and in alignment with this character that you developed season 1, season 1, episode 5, season 2, episode 9, season 13, episode 6. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And just having to really know your character to be consistent and continuity,
Yeah. And something I realized working on this movie is how important great writing is, because there are certain scenes where the writing is great and you can just, it makes what we do so much easier. It just flows and like you can feel all the wonderful colors that the writer put in there that we now get to bring to life. And so from now on, I realized I'm going to look for that. I don't know if I was ever really looking for great writing before, you kind of just take what you can get. But now I'm just like, and there are some scenes as well that are a little bit trickier to do because it's like the language is a little bit bizarre or just it's way outside of your natural vernacular. But when you do get to those scenes that are like exactly what you want, because there were some times where like they're moving fast on this movie. So they're doing a lot of wides. And so there are a lot of times where we just did this scene from beginning to end. And like, I don't know if people know this, but when you're doing a movie, that's kind of unusual. A lot of the times you're doing coverage, you cut, you move around, you do piece by piece. Mm-hmm. Here we were just doing, okay, you're going to do like 5 pages now. And that's very unusual. It was almost like filmed theater sometimes. But we were prepared and we made it happen. But like, it doesn't happen without great writing, without great people around you.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, I imagine like the pressure of not messing up for things like that. So I'm interested as to how they handle that on sets that big. Yeah. Like if somebody flubs a line or if somebody messes up or someone cracks and breaks character. Yeah. Have you had a scenario or an experience where you watched that happen?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, how do they handle that? Well, especially if you're not big name talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I will say, okay, I won't say if this was a big name or a small name, but they did not know their lines. And they basically just had to say line. And the director, the second AD would shout out what the line was. And, that's one good thing about it not being theater. They can edit around it or whatever. But I mean, if they don't know their lines, they don't know their lines. And so we just kind of had to like start through the scene as they got fed their lines. And that's how it happened. But for the most part, people knew their lines. And if they didn't, they would just kind of pick it up right at the beginning of the line and then go from there. But you really want to know your lines.
Yeah, you don't want to be that person.
You don't want to be that person. But everyone on this set was very forgiving. Nice. We all, gave it grace or whatever. It is a rapid sprint of a shoot. And so it's understandable. But yeah, it was tough. It's tough to watch because you're just kind of like, that if that were me, I'd be just like, I'd need like 5 minutes to walk away and get my mojo back. Because like if you can't get through a paragraph or like it must mess up like how you deliver the rest of it because you're in your head now about it. Mm-hmm. But they were able to kind of just like get through the scene and made it happen. But it is tough to watch because like I can only imagine going through that as me, Yeah. Yeah.
No, thank you.
No.
Tell me about your dream role or just anything that you want to do. What's your a character you want to play, an actor whose role already exists that you'd like to play or that you look up to? Tell me about that.
Well, I think literally every like young Black actor, they all say like Miles Morales, Oh, yeah? Even like as an Afro Latino, like
Dominicano?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's like the dream. But then again, like I love comedy and I would love to be on a sitcom. Like a what's it called? Like a multi-camera sitcom. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how often those get made anymore, but like because that was like my first introduction to anything, just like Nickelodeon TV, like those things. And it just looks so fun and like it's job security and it's pretty close to theater, honestly. Like they just kind of set up the cameras, you walk in, you do your thing, you leave, there's an audience and you do feed off the audience a lot. And so I would love to do a sitcom. And then of course, like your Stranger Things, your White Lotus, those kind of like, White Lotus is great because it's like 10 episodes, everyone gets paid the same, like you get whisked away to this place. And I mean, that's like a dream, of course, because like I feel like on that show, they really let the actors kind of do their thing. And like, they say like theater is an actor's medium. TV is for writers, film is for directors, and that's so true. Like my first day on this film, I was like, whoa, like I was reminded how technical film acting was. There was a scene where I had to like reach into a fireplace and like do all this stuff, and like it feels so unnatural, but they're like, you have to look here, you have to look there in order for it to look right on camera. You have to move your hand like this. And so that first day was a calibration for me because I'm so used to having more freedom, but like you can't move around too much. You can't do this or else you lose focus. And so definitely be aware of like the different styles of acting and what it demands from you. But yeah, I would love to do something like White Lotus, Stranger Things that are very like moody, and I love that.
Yeah. So you want to talk a little bit about your music?
Oh, sure. Yeah, music has been great for me just because it's like I said, like you can do it all by yourself, and I just got a drone to kind of help with like taking videos and stuff. And that's a great thing about this survival job, quote unquote, is it gives you the funds to invest in your non-survival jobs like classes and cameras and this and that. And so that's been great. Like I just had my first song hit like 10,000 streams, and like that gave me a lot of motivation. Like one thing about me is like I'm very easily motivated. Like as long as I see like the slightest hint of like something working, I'm like, okay, we got to do that now, you know? And I think that's helped me in this as well, because like you kind of have to take your wins, you know, as they come. And so I love music for that. And you can just kind of like check every day how the song is going. It's very immediate, and I love that. And it's also just like kind of a different way to express myself, you know? And I kind of take it like, it's not always just about me when I write the songs. It's like a story, or like, you know, and I get to use like those muscles as well. And so I've been loving that. I want to take that a little bit more seriously, even though it's like, I don't even want to call it a pipe dream, because that's even giving it more than it is. But like, you know, it'd be great if I could have like a couple $100 extra a month from music, which seems within the realm of possibility. But, you know, music and acting, it's not really something you do for money, you know. In an ideal world, of course, we would get paid a lot to do this. But, you know, at this stage, not so much. But I just love music so much. And to be able to make it is it's a great practice. And it kind of like, whenever I'm doing it, it makes me feel giddy, you know, because it's like, Beyonce and like these people, like that's like a true level that you can't really touch. And so when you get to make your own music, it's like, you know, you kind of feel like you're getting close to that, or it's just like it's your own version of that. And it's great when you're able to provide that to yourself, as opposed to waiting to get called on set or anything like that.
Yeah. So who are you said Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But your acting influences, your acting idols, your music influences, music idols.
Yeah. For music, it's like Mariah Carey, I mean, Stevie Wonder, like a lot of those kind of guys. Yeah, like they're just like, I mean, they're the GOATs for a reason. Like just the writing and the production, like they do it all, and they do it at such a high level. And so I'd say those guys. And for acting, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, just whenever he's on screen, and just like he has such presence, I think. And watching Succession, you know Succession? Yes. Sarah Schnook, do you know her? She, I was like watching one of her scenes, and just like something clicked for me for some reason. Like the way she was like moving, like I realized that like even when you're not doing anything on screen, like you're doing something. You know what I mean? Like everything kind of counts when you're on camera and you're acting. Like the like even doing this is like a huge thing on camera. So just be really cognizant of that. And even if you feel like you have to make a choice, like a big choice, like just know that everything you do is like can communicate something. And I feel like I had another breakthrough as well, where like, you know, sometimes as an actor, people can treat you as like a mouthpiece just for the writing, or just like almost like a puppet or whatever. But as an actor, you're bringing your own creative choices to the table as well. And like you can, the way you say something, like, so for me, for something that I do whenever I book a job, or if I have a big audition, I'll write a paragraph from the perspective of the character. Like it'll be like, so in the movie, we go to this ski resort and we're trying to make it up to code or whatever. It's like a supernatural horror comedy. And like a few days before going up there, I just wrote this thing. I was like, oh, I'm so excited to go to the ski lodge, yada, yada, yada. And that really helped me get inside of it.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought with me, I feel like I listen to music that is like in the mindset of the character or in that realm. Or I'll write, like you were saying, a letter to my co-star or to my scene partner. I did that for the last film that I did, and it helped me a lot, especially because me and her didn't really get a lot of time to like, you know, talk or like bond. But I remember our first day on set, when I had first met her, I did that. I like went through her Instagram. I talked to the director, who also was one of her friends, and just getting some more details about her, you know, that I could personally cling to. But yeah, I've done the letter before too.
It really helps. Just like small things like that, where like you are bringing your own ideas to it. Like my first or second day on set, I was like, I feel like my character would like wear his watch on the inside or whatever. And it's like small things like that do give you a lot of insight into who this person is. And it's like there's what's on the page, and then there's what you bring to it, and you just kind of combine it. And that's like the character, you know? And So Samuel L. Jackson is a big influence. Who else? Yeah, Sarah Schnook. Let's see. I don't know, like Aaron Pierre. I just love, like, you know Aaron Pierre?
Mm-mm.
He was just in Rebel Ridge, a Netflix movie. He was in the live action Lion King. He's just like another black actor that's like doing great. Justice Smith, you know Justice Smith? So he was the guy in the first Jurassic World movie and in Dungeons and Dragons and a bunch of big movies. And like I really look to him because he is like similar to me in the sense that he's like kind of like a black, like nerdy-ish, like younger actor, but he's really like wielded that type to get like these really huge roles. And so he's definitely someone I look to as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know something? I could see you playing in Rent.
Oh, really?
I could see you, gosh, I wish I wasn't blanking on his name. But he, the glasses and the redhead. Oh, what is his name? He does the duo with, he does the Tango Maureen duet.
In the movie?
Yes. Gosh, what is his name? Because there's the guy who is in love with Mimi. But it's not him. It's the other guy. Why can't I think of his name? I love Rent so much.
Should we IMDb it?
Gosh, yes, I have to. But I could see you playing a character like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like something in New York, fighting for change, you know. But
yeah.
he was a filmmaker, I believe. Yeah, let me.
Yeah.
I have to because it's going to eat me away.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love doing horror. I love doing like superhero stuff. I've like weirdly done 2 superhero stuff now. Let's see, because that's like the stuff, you know, when you're a kid. Like I feel like what you see and what you love as a kid kind of stays with you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, Rent cast. Anthony Rapp.
Oh, Anthony Rapp. Wait, do I know who that is? The name sounds really familiar. Let me Google it.
Mark. He played Mark in Rent.
Anthony Rapp.
Yes, that's him.
Oh, I don't know this person. Yeah, but yeah, so I would love, like I just did like my first, like, well, I don't know if it was my first, but I just did like an off-Broadway audition. Nice. So I would love to do more theater and stuff because like I said, like that's when you really get to like do your actory thing, you know?
Yeah.
You can just kind of go for it. But yeah.
Yeah, I miss theater. I miss stage. I did it all my life up until my last 2 years of NYU because I did Stella Adler at NYU, but then I went to Stone Street for the last 2 years.
Ah, yeah.
And that's what made me really love film acting. So I was like, I got to do it.
Would you do theater again?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I love the live energy transfer and hearing the reaction from the audience and like, you know, and I also love when you come off stage. Just my favorite thing about theater, when you go out into the hallway and everybody's like, oh my gosh, good job. Yeah. But they talk about how they were impacted by your work. And I know every actor loves hearing that, like how their work penetrated someone. But truly, there's no other feeling like it when you get that one person who's like, that made me cry, or that performance took my breath away. Yeah. Oh my God, man.
That's like the top,
That's all you want as an actor, right? Yeah. So, stage is so unbeatable, you know, because you get that reaction live immediately, you know? So, yeah. Anyways, is there anything else that you want the audience to know?
I'd say just keep going. Keep going. Whatever it is you're doing, keep going. You never know when that email is going to hit your inbox or when you're going to meet that person. We had an amazing PA on set who was working in like a donut shop, and she saw a guy with a camera come in. She started talking to him, and the guy invited her to be on set. And now she's like, she might be working on The Gilded Age next. And it's like, you never know who's going to walk through the door, who's going to send you an email, and just keep going. Keep going. The time is going to pass anyways. Don't give up. And that's what I'd say.
Yeah. And shoot that arrow.
Shoot that arrow. You never know where it's going to land.
So where can the audience find you?
They could find me on Instagram at its_jcruz, my music website, jonaraymusic.com. But all the big stuff will be on Instagram, I think.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get into the What's the Rate segment. This is the segment on the show where you are going to rate these 7 topics, 1 through 10, 1 being no and 10 being yes. We're here for it. So the first one is going to be using Instagram to find career opportunities, 1 through 10.
That's a 7, I think. I think for me, like, yes, like sometimes friends will post like casting notices online or anything, but for me, like Instagram is like you might become discouraged seeing, looking for that. I don't know if people really post that many opportunities on Instagram. It's there, but it's probably better for networking. For me, I'd give that a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Using LinkedIn.
That's a 10.
Really?
That's a 9. That's a 9. There's so many, obviously, spam posts on there, but my last 2 jobs were from LinkedIn,
Really?
Yeah.
As an actor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
For your survival job.
Yeah. Okay,
for your outside the industry job, or I guess this job is in the industry, but if you just need a job, LinkedIn is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3 is always saying yes.
It's a 6, I think. I think sometimes the no, I mean, it's obviously case by case, but I think sometimes you're better off not doing the thing. I mean, you can always learn, but it might take more from you than it gives you. So I bump it up to a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4 is mentors.
Oh, I think that's a 10. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with a mentor. Just feels good to have someone who's been through some version of what you're going through and can lend you advice and just kind of be an ear. A bit like a therapist, except for the fact that they're they're there to therapize you about stuff in your industry, and I mean, you just can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5 is non-paid projects.
Depends. Oh, what should I give it? Give it a 7 because you can still get experience. You can learn what you like and what you don't like, and there's less pressure because you're not getting paid for it. If your friend is doing a short film, they need actors, they call on you, you have the time, go for it. If a company wants to hire you unpaid, don't do that. But it's a case by case basis, but you can learn a lot from it regardless.
Yeah, multiple ways to get paid other than just money.
Exactly. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. All right. Number 6 is working your way up.
Maybe a little overrated. Maybe a 6.5. What you do get from working your way up is the sense of you can stand up a little bit straight because you're I'm here because I work to get here. It's not a door or the whole Nepo baby situation. I support it. Working your way up, but it can feel a little bit my gosh, am I there yet? How much more do I have to work? But, there's something to be gained confidence-wise from working your way up. Give it a 6.5.
Yeah, builds character.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the last one, number 7, is fame.
Fame. So, I mean, I haven't really had a brush up with that. I would say, I feel I'm just going to give that a 7.5 for what it can do for your career. Obviously if you're a name, you might have people chasing you for projects and stuff, which is obviously great when you have offers coming as opposed to seeking them. But I feel unless you're really famous, a Beyonce, an Oprah, I don't know why she came to mind, but if you're unless you're really famous, you can probably walk around without, getting mugged or whatever, people coming after you. So I feel it would take a lot for you to reach that level where you're famous. Of course, there's also, you could book one thing that really puts your face out there. But I feel you can use it. You can use it to get more jobs or to lift people up with you. I always whenever I work with people, I'm I'm going to remember you. And I'm going to if I'm ever in a space where I need to bring people on, I'm going to bring you on because I like what you did. You were nice to work with. And so, yeah, I want to get to those places so I can bring everyone else up with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. I love that. And I love that you have that perspective. It's a good one to have and one that I wish everybody, would open themselves up to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan, for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing your experience and your advice. You know what I'm saying? And I truly do wish you the best with everything, and I hope you keep going up. It seems like you've met a lot of success thus far in your career, so I hope it continues for you.
Thank you so much. Genuinely. Me too. And I hope it for you as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of What's the Rate? I'm your host, Breon Lyons, and we'll see you on the next episode.